What's up, Joe here, and I'm on my Segway. I'm going to be talking about in this video, I found a really great article, 12 traits of high successful achievers. And I'm going to talk about how they can maybe apply to you and to your real estate investing business, all right? So I'm going to just spell them out one by one here real quick. There's 12 of them. Number one, they believe in themselves. Number two, they have a clear vision. Number three, they build strong relationships. Number four, they're protective of their time and the time of other people. Number five, they never stop learning. Number six, they're risk takers. Number seven, they're decisive. Number eight, they care about solving problems. Oh, that's good. Number nine, they plan ahead. Number 10, they don't make excuses. Number 11, they ask questions. And number 12, they're persistent. Number one is they believe in themselves, okay? I mean, this is pretty simple, goes without saying. You got to believe that what you're doing works. You've got to believe, and I could say you believe in yourself, but it also helps to have a spouse or a business partner that can believe in you as well. And I think one of the main reasons why I've been so successful is I've had a spouse that's believed in me. And when it's gotten hard, she's been like, yeah, I got your back, Joe. This is cool. You've got this, you can do this. So you got to believe in yourself, number one, right? And that's when, when it comes time to make decisions that are hard to make, if you really have a belief in what you're doing and yourself, and you believe that God's called you to do this stuff, it's easier, rather, to make those kinds of hard decisions, okay? Number two, you have a clear vision. You need to know where you're going. You need to know that, okay, well, in maybe 1 year and 2 years and 5 years, this is where I want to be. And then working backwards from there, breaking it down into where do I want to do, what I want to do this quarter, okay? And where do I want to do this day to achieve my next goals? There's a really good book. It's called The 12-Week Year. I think it's what it's called. The 12, something like that. Just Google it or Amazon it, right? The 12-week year, something like that. Maybe we'll find it and put it in the description, but it talks about setting up your bigger goals and setting up then quarterly goals. And every quarter you're starting kind of like a new year, because sometimes it's frustrating at the beginning of the year to set your 12-month goals and already by January 15th, you've completely lost it. Well, what if you could start every 3 months, make that like your new annual goals and break down your chunks clearer, simpler that way, right? So it's about having a clear vision. Okay, number three, you got to build strong relationships. Your network determines your net worth sometimes. And it's important to surround yourself with people who have similar passions and desires as you do, right? You want to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, that are better than you, that can lift you up. And where it gets hard, you got someone around you that says, hey, you know what? I've been there, done that. It's okay. This is what you need to do to fix that. So make sure you have strong relationships in the business community, right? People that are doing what you want to do, but also in your personal private area as well. Number four, you need to be protective of your time and the time of others. And I think the biggest thing with this is learning how to say no. It's hard to say no, isn't it? But if you have a clear vision for where you want to go and what you want to be, you need to have a real simple, effective way to say no to things. Like, I used to belong to this program called Life in Air, and later with Sean McCall called Leadership Boardroom. And one of the things that we did in there, it was so good, was develop a vision for your business. What do you want your business to look like? And then every decision that you make in business or life after that is like, well, you know what? Does that line up with my vision? Does that line up with what I want to do? And it's easy to chase shiny objects, right? Well, listen, shiny objects will make you go blind, but laser focus will make you rich. And so you need to learn to say no to those shiny objects, okay? Number five, never stop learning. It's important to feed your brain, right? Books, podcasts, videos like this, channels, and surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Always be trying to learn something new, and that's gonna help you grow physically, spiritually, mentally, and all that good stuff. Oh, quality number six, they are successful people, they're risk takers. Guys, if you don't like taking risks, you might be in the wrong business, okay? You're probably listening to the wrong YouTube channel or podcast, whatever this is. You need to learn how to take risks and how to be okay with risks. Risks are not bad. Unnecessary risks are bad, but you know what? Get used to it. Life and business especially is full of risks. And I remember when I quit my job in 2009, man, I was scared. It was a big risk, but I knew I had already been doing deals part-time. I knew I could do deals. I knew this stuff worked because I proved it. And when I got discouraged, I listened to other podcasts and interviews of people that were doing what I wanted to do, but I was okay with those risks and I was willing to take risks. I think the biggest reason why most beginners fail and why not everybody can be an entrepreneur is because they're just afraid to take risks. And so if that's you, yeah, maybe you should stay in a corporate job. You know, maybe that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? Probably not. It's not a good, if you don't like taking risks, this is probably not the business for you. Quality trait number 7, they're decisive. So you need to be willing to make decisive decisions. Yes or no, we're gonna go this way, or we're gonna go that way. If you're wishy-washy, and it takes too long to think or try to come up with a decision, you're gonna really struggle in business. The most successful people, they're very quick, they're massive, decisive action takers, okay? So if you're okay with taking the risk, you need to be okay with making decisions, yes or no. That's what yes or no, that's what your team needs. And you need to be willing to make because there's a lot of decisions you have to make in business, so you got to be okay with making decisions. And when you do make them, stick with them, okay? Quality number 8, you care about solving problems. We're in the business of solving people's problems, right? If it's a seller, they have a problem of not being able to sell their house. If it's a buyer, their problem is finding deals. They can't find good deals, right? If it's a private investor, their problem is they can't get a good return in the stock market. But you can give them safe, consistent returns through real estate. So you have to understand, who are your customers, who are your investors, your partners, what are their problems? And if you can learn how to become good at solving their problems, you're gonna kill it in this business. You're gonna go very, very long time and do very, very well. You know, related to solving people's problems, you don't look at, when you see other people or other people's situations, or you don't think dollar signs primarily. Primarily you look at, okay, how can I help them solve their problem? And you take care of what they really need, then the money follows after that. So it's kind of like, you gotta make sure you're focused on their problem, not necessarily on the dollar sign all the time. Does that make sense? All right, number 9, they plan ahead. And when I was in the construction world and the engineering world, we were building power plants and stuff like that. There was a saying, the 5 Ps. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I guess that's 6 Cs, right? So it's important to have a plan. It doesn't have to be complicated, fancy. It could be on a napkin, but it's a plan of working backwards. If you want to make 10 grand a month, 100 grand a month, working backwards from there and knowing, okay, what are the things that I have to do every single day to get there? Maybe it's every day make 20 dials. Maybe it's send 100 postcards every day. Maybe it's follow up and with all of my old leads, and write down that plan of what you need to do. And it starts with your goals, but working backwards into things that you can control. You can't control that your average profit's 10 grand a deal. You can't control that it takes 30 offers to do one deal, but you can control, all right, I'm gonna make 2 offers every day. I'm gonna make 5 offers every day. And you plan your day, your work week, your month, your quarter by those actionable steps that you can take. Number 10 is really good, okay? They do not make excuses. You own up to it, you man up, you say, all right, well, you know what, that didn't work according to plan. Let's fix it, let's do this again. I'll own it, I'll take care of it. Or if somebody complains about something that happened to you, you don't make excuses, you just fix it. A good, successful leader, somebody in business who's been around for a long time, they don't make excuses. A lot of times when people apply to be a part of my coaching program or to get me to help them work with them, I'll ask them, hey, did you try any other programs? And how'd that go for you? And they say, yeah, I tried this so-and-so's program and it didn't work for me. I said, well, why not? If they start complaining about that coach or that program, I tell them, listen, I don't think I'm gonna be a good fit for you. You're making excuses for why you failed. Did you try it? Did you implement any of it? I'm not saying there aren't bad gurus out there, but most of the time you're gonna really have a hard, I don't wanna work with somebody who's gonna make a bunch of excuses for the reasons why they didn't succeed in something. Okay, 2 more important traits of high achievers. Number 11 is they ask questions. I love asking questions. I ask a lot of questions, and it's really important that you're always asking questions, and you're never satisfied. There's always something new to learn. How can I do this better? How can we do this differently? How can we save money here? How can we get a higher ROI with our marketing here? How can we make more profit on these deals? Always asking questions, always trying to learn something new. Don't think that you know it all, because you don't. Hang out with other smart people that are doing stuff that you want to do and ask questions. How could I improve, do better? How can I do what you're doing? And when you ask other people questions, this is kind of related to this, always come at it with the approach of, how can I help you grow your business? Instead of, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I take you out to lunch? Start thinking about what is it that they need, and start asking yourself, how can I help them get what they need? And come at them with an approach of more of a servant's heart instead of just gimme, gimme, gimme and take. So when you're asking people questions about how to do things yourself, think about what you can give first. But the point is, always be asking questions. Always be asking, because there's so much to learn. There's books, there's lots of podcasts and YouTube videos out there. So start asking questions and start asking better questions. Like what I said before, ask the who, not the how, right? Make a list of everything and say, how can I do none of this? That's the important question to ask. Final trait, number 12, be persistent. Never quit, never give up. Even when it gets hard, never give up. I remember one time we were out kayaking, my wife and I, in San Francisco Bay Area. And these were long kayaks. And to go out to rent a kayak at Lake Tahoe, you had to pass the certain class to get a permit to rent these kayaks out at Lake Tahoe. And so we took a class, we went out there, and one of the things you have to do is when you're in the kayak, you have to turn it over and get into the water and then get back in without like touching anything, right? So like you're in the deep water. So I did this. I could turn it over, but I could not get in. Every time I tried to get back in, it would fall back over. That took me a half hour. And the instructor kept on saying, okay, we need to turn it in. We need to go, but you can't pass this class. You can't get this permit if you don't turn the kayak back over and get back in it. And so my wife, I remember she was watching because she did it right away. And I was like, why could my wife do it and I can't do it? And I just kept on trying and trying and trying and trying. 30 minutes, couldn't get it over. And the tide was going back in or going back out, I forget. And if I didn't get it done in the next few minutes, I was gonna get stuck out there. So the instructor was saying, we gotta go. And I kept on saying, no, one more time, one more time. Well, finally I did it. And we brought it back in. And when I was rowing it back in, I thought, what's this? Something doesn't feel right. Well, it turns out there's a hatch in the back for storage and stuff like that. And there was a leak in it. And there was a ton of water inside the back of the kayak, which obviously, but that is what caused the problem of not being able to stabilize it enough so I could get back in it. Anyway, I learned an important lesson. Number one, my wife was like, oh, Joe, you're so awesome. Because like I refused to give up, right? And we still talk about it to this day of my dogged persistence, not giving up. I'm gonna figure this out and do it. And so even when you have obstacles, right, and things in your way that are gonna stop you from doing something, like again, I was like, if my wife can do it, then I can do it, right? So do not quit, do not give up, and you're gonna have success in this business. All right, so I hope that helps. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and go implement these 12 things right now in your business. Let me know which one of the 12 that I talked about was the most, did you resonate with the most, that you felt like you needed to work on? Let me know in the comments down below.